What's up, y'all? It's your boy, Brain Waves. Back at it again. This time, we have to talk about a subject that I personally have made content on. And I have spoken on this. And I have warned those of you in these YouTube streets. Let me repeat this. I have warned content creators in these YouTube streets. But, everybody's going to do what they're going to do. They're going to choose to make decisions based upon what they believe is right. And what I'm trying to do is to remind the general public as well as content creators, not only on YouTube, but on all platforms. And what is actually right and what is not right. You see, you may believe personally that certain things are right and certain things aren't. But what I need to actually make clear is that this is irregardless of whether you have a subscriber base of one person or you have a subscriber base of 100 million. None of that matters. The size of your platform doesn't matter. The number of people following you doesn't matter. Who's actually following you doesn't matter. What matters is what's right, and what matters is what's wrong. Certain people are going to agree. Certain people are going to disagree. I'm very well aware of that. I know what time it is. I know what's going on. This is not my first rodeo. And I got to talk about this subject because what happened to a very popular YouTuber, a gamer, all right, by the name of Destiny. And for those of you that don't know, I also am a gamer myself. You see, I don't game on this particular YouTube channel. But I have another YouTube channel where I'm known in the gaming space. I'm known in the film and industry space, right? So I know what you can say and what you can't say. And I've been doing this for a while, all right? Don't be deceived by the year on this particular YouTube channel. I've been moving in the film and the industry and entertainment for a long time, since a little child. I'm very familiar with navigating these things. At 6 months old, I was actually taken on tour. My father, he used to play in a guitar band, all right? And he would take me on tour. So I'm very familiar about what works and what doesn't, the do's and don'ts of the industry, and things that you can say and things you can't say and things that you can and can't get away with. Now, I welcome those of you that are here. I kindly ask that you double tap the screen and also subscribe, because this particular subject is a tough subject. And it is a subject that some content creators are avoiding. All right. What's going on, Hassan Tahir Show? Hassan Tahir Show is also a fellow content creator. Feel free to subscribe to him. He's in the live chat. Now, speaking of what's going on with the live chat, I have the live chat limited to subscribers. So if you are trying to leave comments and you're unable to leave comments, you must subscribe. Why am I doing that? Why is it set up that way? It's because my platform has become too much of a target for people just to come through and troll, and I don't have time for that. So if they're going to bother to troll, at the very least, they're going to have to subscribe and support the platform. Those of you that already subscribe, those of you that already support my platform, no issues. So for those of you that are wondering why can't I leave comments, it's because of these trolls. You can thank the trolls for that. Now, let's get into some of the particular information here, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you what we can do and what we can't do here on YouTube and on social media platforms. Many of you are sadly mistaken on what you can and cannot do. That's right. Many of you are sadly mistaken on what's okay and what's not. And I got to talk about this and I got to show you. So one of the things we're going to do, we're going to take a look at a couple of videos here. All right. And these videos are going to show you a little bit about the popular YouTuber that you see on the thumbnail by the name of Destiny. Okay. One thing about what happened to Destiny, Destiny is demonetized. Destiny has essentially gotten shut down for his particular stance, his particular voice. Okay. And you could tell what's going on. Now watch this, y'all. I want y'all, for those of you that are here, I want you to pay attention to the chat. Okay? Now I'm going to do something because I'm watching what's happening with the chat, and I'm going to do something. Now, I want you to see how the chat is going to increase in terms of viewership, but I want you to see how many people are going to actually troll. Okay, I just opened up the chat to where anyone can leave a particular comment in the chat. I want you to watch how things shift around in terms of the viewership. All right. One of the things I want to take you on and we're going to talk about is what has actually happened here we'll talk about this. Elon Musk has actually called for this particular streamer by the name of Destiny to actually go to prison over his rant of Charlie Kirk. And I warned y'all about talking about Charlie Kirk in a negative way. You see, I understand you don't have to agree with someone, but there's a very difference between freedom of speech and hate speech. We're going to get to that in a minute. But let's take a look at this with what Elon Musk has called for the popular streamer Destiny. Because I've been warning you content creators for a long time that there's a lot of content creators that's putting out misinformation and disinformation about Charlie Kirk as well as other things. And they do these things believing that they're under the protection of free speech, but what they're actually doing is inciting violence and they're inciting race. So let's take a look at this.
You need conservatives to be afraid of getting killed when they go to events so that they look to their leadership to turn down the temperature.
Did you hear what he said?
You need conservatives to be afraid of getting killed when they go to events so that they look to their leadership to turn down the temperature.
Now, I want to talk about that right off the bat. This popular content creator by the name of Destiny, he has like about 1 million followers. Okay? He has like about 1 million subscribers or what have you. He's also been popular on other platforms. Okay? What I want you to understand is that there's certain things you can say and certain things you just can't. I have to keep reiterating this. And what this guy just said, you cannot say that. You cannot say that. Okay? You absolutely cannot say that. You just can't say that. Let me show you who the content creator is. For those of you that don't know as well. This is the content creator. Like I said, his name is Destiny. And if you scroll down here, he said some things. You can see here he has a debate against a Charlie Kirk fan. This is Destiny on the stage. You know, he has some stuff and some information that he said. Okay, you can kind of see there's a lot of things he's spoken out about. And when you think about certain things, he fits the so-called platform and the template of having white privilege, okay? You know, I don't sugarcoat around here. Obviously, he's a white streamer. He has almost 1 million subscribers. He has 850,000 subscribers, okay? This is one of the people that you would think would be able to speak out about something. Okay, and he's currently live right now, ironically, as we speak. But nonetheless, let's play what he had to say. Let's play what Elon Musk's reaction is.
You need conservatives to be afraid of getting killed when they go to events so that they look to their leadership to turn down the temperature.
The popular video game streamer known as Destiny has come under fire for inflammatory remarks made about the Charlie Kirk assassination. Destiny, whose real name is Stephen Bonnell II, streams fiery political debates on his website destiny.gg. This week on Piers Morgan Uncensored, he doubled down on his controversial comments.
If it turns out to have been somebody with a leftist ideology who wanted to shut up Charlie Kirk, would you condemn that?
I won't condemn anything until the President of the United States can go on air and say, all of us need to calm down.
So you won't condemn the murder of Charlie Kirk until Donald Trump says something?
Video of the
If it turns out to have been somebody with a leftist ideology who wanted to shut up Charlie Kirk, would you condemn that?
I won't condemn anything until the President of the United States can go on air and say, all of us need to calm down.
So if it turns out to have been somebody with a leftist ideology who wanted to shut up Charlie Kirk, would you condemn that?
I won't condemn anything until the President of the United States can go on air and say, all of us need to calm down.
First of all, what you hear is that this particular content creator says that he won't condemn anything regarding Charlie Kirk unless the President of the United States were to come on air, or I guess do some type of broadcast telling everybody to calm down. You see, here's the irony of this. Here's the hypocrisy of this. You have this content creator by the name of Destiny that wants everybody to calm down, but yet he's okay to not calm down and say what he says and take his stance and move the way that he wants to move. Don't y'all see the hypocrisy in that? Let me run this back again because I don't think y'all paying attention to what he just said.
Somebody with a leftist ideology who wanted to shut up Charlie Kirk, would you condemn that?
I won't condemn anything until the President of the United States can go on air and say, all of us need to calm down.
So you won't condemn the murder of Charlie Kirk until Donald Trump says something.
Video of
He refuses to condemn what happened to Charlie Kirk, which means that if you're not condemning what happened to Charlie Kirk, if you're not coming out saying that what happened to Charlie Kirk is wrong, that's something that shouldn't happen to anybody, regardless of their belief, of their stance, or what have you. If you're okay with that, because that's what he's essentially saying. Y'all got to understand, there's different levels of communication. So by making a statement and a claim saying that you're not against something means you're in support of something. So what Destiny has actually come out and said is that he's in support of what happened to Charlie Kirk, unless President Trump were to come out and tell everybody to calm down and cool down, which means that nobody could say anything against him. No one can come out and say how wrong this is. You see what I'm saying? He wants everybody, because you got to really analyze what he said. This guy actually supports what happened to Charlie Kirk, which puts him in the same category as people that's been calling Charlie Kirk a racist, that's been bashing Charlie Kirk, that's been bashing Erica, his wife, his widowed wife now. This is crazy. And you got to really look at this. You got to really look at this. Is this actually the American way, or is this a threat to the domestic? Remember, we have to protect all threats, all forms of threats, both foreign and domestic. Everyone wants to focus on the foreign part, but when we talk about the domestic part, people get quiet. It's funny how people quiet right now in the chat. Y'all very quiet on this subject, and get the likes up. Stop playing, stop hating, and double tap the screen. Y'all know the quality material that I drop. You know the particular talking points that I bring up that other content creators are afraid to talk about through fear of demonetization, getting blocked, getting canceled, getting banned. Here at Brainwaves Advice Topics LLC, we talk about everything here. We talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly, and we keep it 100. We don't play no games. Y'all playing games right now with double tapping the screen. I guess y'all want me to go back and put it back to subscribers only with the chat, huh? Come on now, let's stop playing games. We're having a real conversation. This content creator here said that unless President Trump tells everybody to quiet down and cool off, meaning Destiny could not catch any flack. You see what I'm saying? Nobody could bring up concerns. He's going to basically support what happened to Charlie Kirk. Back it up one more time. We're going to let it ride.
Somebody with a leftist ideology who wanted to shut up Charlie Kirk, would you condemn that?
I won't condemn anything until the President of the United States can go on air and say, all of us need to calm down.
So you won't...
You see that? He will not condemn anything. He's not going to say it's bad. He's not going to say it's wrong. And many of y'all believe that that's freedom of speech. Man, I tell you, man. Let's go.
Condemn the murder of Charlie Kirk until Donald Trump says something.
Video of the appearance was reposted on X, where it racked up 5.7 million views. X-owner Elon Musk, who worked with President Trump on Doge, chimed in, tweeting, "I don't think this jackass should be banned, but Amazon should stop paying him to incite murder. That's insane." Separately, incitement to murder and domestic terrorism is a felony crime.
Do you see that? Elon Musk is letting you know that this is domestic terrorism. I don't think people understand this subject. We're dealing with domestic terrorism. Y'all gotta understand this. See, everyone is focused on foreign terrorism. But it's like when stuff happens on the domestic front, when stuff happens right in your neighborhood, right here with content creators and citizens and people who believe they have a voice, nobody has nothing to say. No one says that that's wrong. Everybody's like, oh, that's okay. You know, we got freedom of speech. We could say whatever we want. And you know what's funny? This particular content creator is known for saying a lot of bad things. That's right. We're going to get to it. See, I got to show you who's speaking. And what y'all have to realize is that a lot of these people that are against the people that are in support of the violence that happened to Charlie Kirk, as well as his wife having to witness it, his kids, other family members and supporters, anyone that's like cool with that, that's okay with that, that is a domestic terrorism mindset. When you hear people talk about sleeper cells, you hear people talk about threats right here and on the domestic front. Let's get the foreign front out of it. Let's just take that out the conversation for a moment. We talk about right here in the States, right here on the land of good old USA. We're seen to give people passes there, but when it comes to what happens outside of the country, oh, now everyone's involved. And what happens is, I don't care if it's you, I don't care if it's me, I don't care if it's someone you agree with, I don't care if it's someone you don't agree with. What happened to Charlie Kirk is straight up wrong. Because if we allow that, if we don't condemn that, then guess what that means, everyone? Everyone that's watching and listening to me right now, what that means is that you are in support of that same type of act to happen to anyone here in the United States. Whether that is you or me or anyone else. And what you got is a lot of people don't understand the difference between freedom of speech and hate speech. We're going to get into it. A lot of people don't understand what type of threats to America, to our society. Y'all don't understand. Listen, do people realize that hate speech and supporting certain type of violent acts is a form of threat? It is a domestic threat. When people think about domestic terrorism, they're only thinking about foreign terrorism. They look at foreign terrorism as the basis for domestic terrorism, and they are two different things. You see, even when people are in another country and they're outside of America and they send their people here into America, that is a foreign terrorism. That is a foreign terroristic front. Because though they show up here in America, it's coming from a foreign source. But what we have is internal threats that are coming straight up out of America, straight up out of the domestic front. And people seem to not understand that, want to give that a pass. Now, we're going to get into the past of this particular content creator by the name of Destiny. Let's continue to play this. There's a reason why Elon Musk said that this is domestic terrorism. Listen, you can hate Elon Musk. You could be mad at Elon Musk. This has nothing to do with disagreeing or being in agreement with Elon Musk. What I'm trying to get y'all to understand is that you have people that are right here in this country, that they are originating from this country. They're not speaking on behalf of a foreign nation. They're speaking on behalf of right here in America, domestic. And they are a threat to individuals, people, and ways of life in society. And, you know, the people that have a problem with that, those are the people that most likely engage in that same type of behavior. Let's go.
For that, he should go to prison. He can resume streaming when he has served his term. A few hours later, Destiny fired back with this claim: "Unreal. Elon Musk and other conservatives just got me banned from Twitch. My entire income is gone now. So much for the party of free speech." However, critics quickly pointed out that the 36-year-old had already been banned from the streaming platform Twitch multiple times.
Y'all hear that? So this is a guy that has already been banned multiple times from Twitch. And like he said, he's a gamer. I'm a gamer. I have a platform on Twitch. It's not under this name. What I do here at Brainwaves Advice Topics LLC and what I do as a gamer, as a tech and reviewer or whatever, that's totally separate from what I do here. Okay? You cannot use your listen, y'all gotta understand. People think that, well, I have a Twitch account. I don't work for a 9 to 5. Twitch is your 9 to 5. When you work for YouTube, you're a content creator on YouTube. YouTube is your 9 to 5. For those of you that are on IG or Instagram, Instagram is your 9 to 5. Y'all got to understand this. People think that just because you as a viewer or me as a content creator or anyone for that matter utilize these platforms, that we're somehow free of any consequences. You're sadly mistaken. There are terms of service as a viewer as well as a creator on any of these platforms. Y'all just don't read it. Y'all just like, let me create my account, let me create my name, boom, 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 click whatever it is, and boom, you're off to the races. But it's there. You agreed to it by creating that account. It's all there. Now, you may not like it. Nobody's saying you have to like it. Just like your job, for those of you that have a 9 to 5, institute a code of ethics, of conduct. There's rules, there's laws, there's things you have to follow on your 9 to 5. Just because you don't like it don't mean you ain't got to follow it. If you want to still work at that particular 9 to 5, if you still want to have access to the benefits, if you still want to be employed there, guess what? Whether you like it, whether you pissed off about it or not, or you in agreement with it, you got to do it if you want to stay there. The same goes for us as content creators. The same goes for you all as viewers. And people don't understand this particular message. Okay? Y'all got to understand, there's a lot of people that are inciting violence, that are potentially inciting violence. And I don't think people understand what that means. You cannot incite violence towards a group of people. Anyway, let's continue this article because I want to show y'all the difference between freedom of speech and hate speech. And I think that a lot of people believe that hate speech falls under freedom of speech in all instances. Notice I said in all instances. Let me repeat that. In all instances. That's what y'all believe. So let's go.
For hateful and incendiary language in 2018, 2020, and 2022 on a variety of hot-button issues.
This content creator on 2018, 2021, and 2022 has already come under fire under the platform of Twitch. And let me explain something to you, right? One of the reasons, right, that people will weaponize platforms, and first of all, Twitch has become something that's anti-gaming. Like, I don't even really want to get into that. Twitch used to be a platform that was solely based upon gamers. It was a platform for gamers to get exposure, to get recognition, get support, etc., etc. That's what Twitch was known for. Twitch of today, the Twitch of today, is just a platform just like YouTube. You got any and everything on Twitch right now that's got nothing to do with gaming. I don't even want to get into it, right? And make sure y'all double tap the screen because y'all playing around with the likes. All you got to do is tap the screen twice. You don't have to leave the stream. You don't have to do anything. Just double tap the screen. Get them likes up. Right? Y'all playing around with the likes. There's not many content creators even talking about this. Right? Twitch of today in 2025 is a whole different platform. Again, I don't want to get into that. But what I want you to know is that it was originated as a gaming platform. Go look up the history. You got to know where you came from to know where you're going. Twitch was created and originally a gaming platform. So this gamer started out utilizing the platform, and he's been banned a lot of times on Twitch. Now he came to YouTube thinking he could get away with the same thing. And now he's facing an issue. I keep trying to tell y'all, when something tragic happens, that's the wrong time to go in and drag somebody. Let's go, man. And let me make this clear. Anybody that's justifying what's going on is most likely an individual that would do the same thing. But let's go.
That run the political gamut. His X handle is the Omni-Liberal, and he's endorsed several Democrats on the national stage since Trump took office. As the debate over free speech rages on in America, ever the troll, Destiny left his followers with this. For the first time in my life, I'm genuinely scared for my own health and safety. I've endured a lot online throughout my career, but never anything to this magnitude. After seeing the owner of this platform, several members of Congress, and other prominent media figures attacking me online, I'm worried I'm now at risk for actually developing brain cancer.
Now, listen, this is absolutely just crazy, okay? Because let me just say this. You have Destiny here trying to play the victim. And this is something that people like to do. They believe they got freedom of speech to drag you. Okay, he's talking about worrying about developing brain cancer. What does he think Miss Erica Kirk could potentially develop and could potentially experience, and those that are supporters of Charlie Kirk and followers of Charlie Kirk? What does he think that they are experiencing and or could potentially experience because of his hate speech, because of his rhetoric? See, a lot of people want to play victim when it comes to them, but then they be like, nah, forget you when it comes to the person they talking bad about. Nah, y'all don't get to do that. You don't get to crash out on somebody and then turn around and play victim when you get put in the hot chair. This is what I'm trying to get people to think. This is a warning. Y'all got to stop and think, man. Too many people are doing this without thinking that they will face any consequences. And they don't care about their target, what they experience, what they go through, and what happens to them. There's no care. There's no concern. It's just no hold barred. No holding back. They take the gloves off and they go for the jugular. But then when they come under fire when stuff happened to them, then they want to play victim. Oh, the system's not fair. The system's not right. Did you think about that, Destiny? Did you think about that, Destiny? When you opened your mouth and said the things that you said about Charlie Kirk and Miss Erica Kirk and anybody that supports him. I'm just saying. See, people say stuff all the time because they think they can get away with it. Listen, y'all, you'll have trolls that come up on YouTube, on everybody's platform all the time, and they say stuff. You know why they say that? Because they think they can get away with it. See, if they tried to do that in your face, they wouldn't dare open their mouth and say it because they know there's consequences. For one, you can see who they are. You could sue them. You could fight them. You could do a whole lot of things. You could unalive them. I'm not saying any of those actions are right. I'm just giving a point here. The same trolls that will come on anybody's platform, open their mouth, say negative, derogatory, slanderous lies and blatant attacks on people wouldn't dare do it in person. You see, it's funny. People believe they got freedom of speech like that online, but then when they get on person, they don't have that same gumption. They don't have the same balls to say the things that they say online. They wouldn't dare troll like that in person. Because these are a lot of the trolls, for example, they spend all their time behind a computer, on the internet, going around who's live, and they just look to troll. They don't go outside. They're not working. They're not doing anything. Their whole habit, their whole way of life is just to troll people. Now, this is not to say you can't say that you disagree with somebody. Nobody's saying that. But there's a difference between disagreeing and actually hate speech. And we're going to get into that. But let's continue. Now, all of a sudden, Destiny want to play victim, y'all. Ain't that crazy? I'm concerned that I might be developing brain cancer after witnessing all of this. Now you want to play victim, but you didn't care nothing about the victims that you went after. He didn't care nothing about the prey that the predator went after. Let's go.
After witnessing how fucking stupid most of these people are. Pray for me.
And then he said, pray for him. Y'all, this is crazy. Let me get real quick into his past, and then I'm going to let y'all see the difference between hate speech and freedom of speech, okay? Because we kind of brought something up, but I want you to actually hear from Destiny's mouth himself, okay? And what we're about to pull up is, let me get this on the screen. It's from a YouTube channel here. I have no problem, showing people what's up. It's from a YouTube channel here by the name of the Iced Coffee Hour Clips, okay? So, shout out to them. This is where the content actually came from. I could play it from here, but I just want you to see where the video clip comes from. Okay, and this is Destiny himself talking about how he actually got banned from Twitch. Okay, because y'all got to understand all of this stuff as he goes on to speak out about, as he goes on to speak out about where he is on YouTube. Okay, y'all got to really understand this. And then we're going to get into something else in a minute, but let's go.
You recently signed a Kick deal, right?
I did a 3-month one a while ago. I might be signing another one, but
Is it absolutely, did it end?
Yeah, it was just for 3 months, but I'm in the talks of signing another one potentially.
Oh,
so,
you are?
Yeah.
Are you able to talk about that?
I can talk about whatever I want to talk about.
Okay, and you also have a Rumble deal as well?
Yeah, I do, yes.
And how's... Why
There's
are
a
you
lot of
signing-
stuff in
Dude, you got a lot of deals.
There's a lot of
Why are
stuff
you
in it.
signing with all of these companies instead of Twitch or YouTube?
Dude, you got more deals than we have.
Well, on Twitch, I'm permabanned for being transphobic, I think.
That's why you got permabanned.
I guess so. I'm not sure. They don't actually tell you. But
What
I
did
think
you say
so.
that was transphobic?
Initially, I thought that there's a part on the TOS that says you can't discriminate people from certain activities, and there was a lot of
recently signed
discussion the day before, I think, about stuff related to trans athletes and everything.
Did you hear what he just said? See, everybody skips over the terms of service. You want to utilize platforms, you want to be stuff, but you skip over stuff. Listen.
I'm not sure. They don't actually tell you. But
What
I
did
think
you say
so.
that was transphobic?
Initially, I thought that there's a part on the TOS that says you can't discriminate people from certain activities, and there was a lot of discussion the day before, I think, about stuff related to trans athletes and everything. So I thought maybe I got banned for that. Then I've talked to a couple people that are friends of the company or work in the company, and apparently I got banned for calling a bunch of people subhuman, and they
Subhuman?
Yeah, that's my go-to because it's it's not a slur, really.
Who were
know?
you calling subhuman?
The group of people I was fighting with, but I guess their interpretation was that I was saying that all trans people were subhuman.
So you're fighting with someone who is trans.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's
So you're telling that person, not all trans
Well,
people.
that
just
group of people.
That person.
that the people I
So
was
they
fighting with.
misinterpreted what you were trying to explain is what you think happened.
Maybe, I'm not sure.
No, listen. What you see right now is Destiny's playing stupid, all right? He's playing like he don't know. This guy know what's going on. If you debate one person that's trans, or you debate a group of people that's trans, you're debating essentially the entire trans community. At the very least, the majority of it. So when you open your mouth, yeah, Jocelyn's right, talking about, he said subhuman trash. Listen, y'all think it's okay to just come out and say all this stuff. Listen, man. This is a bad issue, man. This is a bad issue that's just been going around on the internet and social media for a long time, let alone in person. Let's go, man. This is crazy.
I mean, it might have been inaccurate. Maybe they think that calling groups of people subhuman, a group of people you're fighting with, is not good. But I think it was pretty obvious what I'm talking. I mean, I've got a big trans community. I do a lot of trans issues on my stream. Obviously, I'm not transphobic. But when I was arguing with this group of people, I was like, these extreme activist types on YouTube or on Twitter are all subhuman. It's not worth engaging with them. I'm not going to bother. And I think when they heard that, their interpretation was like, well, that could be interpreted as him calling all trans people subhuman. So yeah.
What was the ideology that these extreme trans people were purporting that you disagreed with or that you thought was subhuman?
There is a oh my god, you're making me dig back about a year ago. I got involved in a weird personal fight with a creator who claimed that I brigaded their chat with my chat to harass them, but I didn't even know this person existed yet.
Did you hear what happened? I want y'all to understand this because this is something that a lot of content creators do. A lot of content creators, what they do is they weaponize their platform. You got this one content creator on YouTube who I got to get back to making content about, right? weaponizes his platform every chance he gets. He does video intros to try to show me as some damn demon. He and other content creators that I work with, he'll create false narratives and lies to try to incite rage, anger towards me and other content creators. All these things are lies and slander. And there are terms of service, there are TOSs as content creators on all these platforms that you cannot take your audience and take your following and weaponize it against another content creator. Right? You just can't do it. You can't do it. You cannot take your, listen, I don't care if you believe it's right or wrong. I didn't create the terms of service. I didn't create this. Y'all got to understand, you cannot take your audience and weaponize it towards another person. When you hear about defending our land against all threats, you only think about foreign threats. We got to defend our land against domestic threats. Remember, just because somebody sends a sleeper cell from another country, that's foreign. If somebody from another country enters into American land and American soil, and then they try to do something, whether it's right when they enter or years later, they land undercover, then they come out, that's still a foreign originated threat, okay? Everybody understand that. But it seems like people don't comprehend what a domestic threat is. And what you're seeing when people weaponize their platforms against content creators, against people, against groups of people, that is a domestic threat. You can't originate here out of America, use your platform. That's just like you on your 9 to 5. You go to your 9 to 5 and you get all your coworkers. You get everybody in your corporation, everybody in your office, everybody at your franchise, whatever it is. You get everybody in your group to go against somebody. You are weaponizing your particular following to go against somebody. You can't do that. You can't do that. And especially for no based reason. No justified, no legitimate reason. Just because you don't agree with them or you don't like them or you jealous of them, you mad at them, you can't do that, man. Y'all cannot do that. Again, this is not a conversation of whether you like it or you dislike it. This is a conversation of what is right and what is wrong. But let's continue. He actually got in trouble for trying to do just that. Watch.
People were purporting that you disagreed with or that you thought was subhuman.
There is a, oh my God, you're making me dig back, but a year ago. I got involved in a weird personal fight with a creator who claimed that I brigaded their chat with my chat to harass them, but I didn't even know this person existed yet when that particular thing happened. And then this was around a time when we had been arguing about a bunch of trans issues already. And my position on trans stuff is, I believe that there is a fact of the matter about whether or not a person is trans, and I think that having dysphoria is an important part of getting trans treatment, and that kind of stands in contrast to right now there's something called the self-ID movement, which is you trans if you say you're trans, and I butt heads a lot with those people, and because of my position, which they sometimes summarize as trans medicalism, they call me transphobic essentially.
And how does Twitch just go and misinterpret what you have to say and then cut off what would probably be your primary source of income? Do you think that this is a problem with Twitch itself? Or maybe do you think if you could go back in time, you would have rephrased what you had said?
I'd probably rephrase. It might just be that sometimes Twitch slowly evolves their standards over time for what's acceptable, what's not acceptable, and it doesn't necessarily go by the TOS. So for instance, you're not supposed to use the words like retarded or autistic. That's bad for Twitch, but nobody punishes for it. So everybody uses the terms on the platform. You don't get in trouble for it. But I think one day you might say it and they might decide to start banning for it. So sometimes when I rant at people, subhuman is like a thing. It's like, oh, this subhuman, blah, blah, blah. I've never gotten in trouble for it in the past, but maybe now they've kind of updated internally that people aren't going to say that word anymore, and that's what I caught a ban for. Maybe, I'm not sure. I don't have any official communication with them, so I'm really guessing.
So they didn't really tell you exactly what it was? You're kind of just assuming?
No.
Now, I will say to his defense, as a content creator, when you're on any of these social media platforms and you get banned, you get demonetized or what have you, they don't really go, or your video gets blocked or you get a strike or what have you, they don't necessarily tell you exactly what happened. You just find out, boom, you banned, boom, you're blocked, boom, you're this. You see? So to some extent, he's telling the truth as it relates to that. It's not like they're like, hey, we blocked you because of this. They don't go into detail. Now, you can pretty much put 2 and 2 together and figure out exactly where it came from for the most part, but they don't make it clear. But you know what happened. You was like, prior to this, everything was good. As soon as this came out, boom, that happened.
No, it's the email that I got was for hateful conduct, but they
That's
don't.
it. It's
Yeah,
just
that's
a very broad, sweeping, hateful.
I don't think they're ever going to give you a specific. I think
No,
that's
well, they have no
across any-
incentive to.
Yeah, they don't give you a specific reason, but they point you in the direction of what you may have said. So you know where it came from. You're like, it's because I said this, or because of my video. But they don't actually tell you exactly where it came from. Anyway, let's go.
Yeah, any social media platform, they have the right to terminate you at any point for really any reason. You're on their platform at the end of the day. So if they make the decision, whether you agree or not, I mean, they're not going to tell you because you said this or that, because then it gives you something to disagree with, you know?
And that's what a lot of people want. There's some of you that's here right now, you want to have one particular talking point. Some people in the live chat ask me specific questions, or they say specific things just so that they could get into a debate with me. Why? Because they're angry or they're upset, or they want to try to bait me into, creating content or things against me because maybe they've been sent by another a domestic threat from another content creator that may weaponize their platforms. And so they send certain people to our chats to try to get us into debates with certain things. You see, I know all about this stuff, y'all. Like I said, I wasn't born yesterday. I know what time it is. I know how people operate. I know how they move. I've been on this platform for a long time. And first and foremost, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob gives me the spirit of discernment. And I see a lot of this stuff. I see who y'all are. I see what's going on. Just because somebody type and hide behind words don't mean that the Most High don't give me the spirit of discernment. I can see through all of that. So people want to have something to debate on, just like as the example they gave. If these platforms said, hey, we blocked you because you said this in 8 minutes on this particular video, then that would give people reasons to debate. And these platforms ain't got time to be going back and forth and debating. Just like us as content creators. We don't have time going back and forth to debate unless the literal topic of the show is, hey, we're going to get into some type of debate with our particular viewers. But anyhow, let's go.
So,
but then what do you think of the Twitch platform in general? Are you bullish on it, or do you think that these weird policies make it seem like it's not going to last very long, especially with all of these other competitors with all of this funding coming out and then buying up streamers?
Yeah, very bearish. I think Twitch has a lot of problems related to like company bloat. Like that company grew to an insane size. I think they're having a lot of trouble figuring out internally what they want the culture of the company to be. And there's a lot of different stuff that a lot of employees are working on that aren't really providing any value to users or to viewers at the end of the day. So yeah, I'm not too big on it, but I mean, who knows?
it seems like a lot of people are leaving right now. I'm seeing
And the reason why a lot of people have left Twitch and are leaving Twitch, and a lot of them, especially as gamers, come over to YouTube, is because it's the problem. Twitch is no longer a gaming platform to get recognized on. It's like Twitch is just another social media platform now. Twitch has changed their culture. They've opened it up to too many different things. There's too many different genres. And when you go on Twitch, people get confused. And then the usability is not as flexible as a viewer as it is on, say, other social media platforms. So it starts creating elements of complication. It was originally structured and designed for gamers. Now, based upon someone being a gamer, yes, the way that it's set up is good for that. I mean, at least previous to where it is now. Where it is now, there's some questions. There's some refinement that come into conversations here. It's just not the same platform that it used to be. So that's why a lot of people are leaving it.
a lot of kick deals.
A lot of kick, a lot of rumble. Yeah.
What do you think it is about those platforms that differentiates from Twitch at this point? Is it purely because they're throwing money at creators? Or do you
Right
think
now, it's
they're
purely the
offering-
money.
Okay.
Yeah. The problem, the issue with trying to build competing platforms is a few issues. In my opinion, I think a lot of the talent acquisition is not being done in the best way because the goal is to acquire talent, but you want their users to stay on the site. It's not enough to just like buy a streamer and then have them stream there and then hope that the users like stick around. Like you have to kind of build that organic viewer base so that people are drawn to the site naturally. That's a really, really difficult thing to do.
I heard that a lot of the Kick revenue is coming from stake, and that when I went on Kick, I saw that gambling was one of the top things that they were, I don't want to say directing people to, but when you go to the website, on the top of the screen, you see like gambling, and you see more people are watching that than just about anything else. So
Yeah,
it
which
seems
is probably
like,
why they're trying to acquire more talent, is to get other types of streamers on the site. Yeah.
of course, because I could imagine they pay somebody, let's just say $10 million to stream on there for a year. How much more revenue are they going to get on the back end from stake from people who go watch gambling streams, think, oh, wow, maybe I'm interested in this too. Do it, lose, and then that goes back and pays for the creator.
I think ultimately the goal is to make the site profitable. I don't know if it's only supposed to work as a funnel to stake, and then for stake to give them kickbacks to run the site. I think that's the goal, but you should bring that Eddie guy in and interview him. Yeah.
Okay, so like I said, that's that particular stream from that. What I want to do is I want to kind of deviate for a second, and I want to show y'all the difference between hate speech versus free speech, because I don't think people truly understand what's going on. Okay, I don't think a lot of people understand. I think people believe that you can just say whatever and do whatever and you'll come under no consequence. There's actually something I want to read here first. Actually, let's go to this. Okay, let's get this on the screen. All right, right now what you're looking at is some explanations on hate speech. Okay, let's break it down. All right, what you see here, hate speech is generally protected by the First Amendment in the United States. This is where the end all and be all is in the conversations of the general public. The general public say, hey, hate speech is protected. You can say whatever you want about anybody, blah, blah, blah. And that's where they stop. Right? This is where they stop. But let's go deeper. It says, yes, hate speech is generally protected by the First Amendment in the United States, as the government is not supposed to suppress ideas that are disagreeable or offensive, even if they are hateful. This is where most people stop. But let's continue. However, this protection is not absolute. Let me repeat. Hate speech protection is not absolute. Let me repeat this one more time for the people in the back. Hate speech protection is not absolute and does not cover speech that crosses into unprotected categories. What are unprotected categories? Such as incitement to violence. For example, if somebody were to come online and they were to say, F your mama, I don't like your mama ain't ish, I will slap your mama all day long, I'm about to do this and do that to your mama. What do you think that's going to incite within you? That's going to piss you off. It's going to get you mad. It's going to get you upset. And if it doesn't incite and piss you off personally, anyone that hears that, they're going to get pissed off. How you let that person talk about your mama like that, your daddy? How you let them just go in on you like that? That's going to piss somebody off. That's going to make somebody want to clap back. That's going to make them want to say something violent back, say something in terms of hate speech. After all, everybody has the right to do hate speech. Okay? These are unprotected categories of hate speech. Y'all got to understand this. If you're inciting violence, if you're making true threats, or you're doing discriminatory harassment, you can't do it. This is why when you talk about the trans community, you talk about the LGBTQIA, etc. community, it's just certain things you can't do. Why? Because then your so-called speech could be labeled hate speech. Even if that's not your intention, it could be labeled as hate speech. And then it crosses into an unprotected category of violence or incitement to violence, a true threat, and or discriminatory harassment towards the particular party, group, or individual. And this is what got Destiny in trouble, and this is what gets a lot of people in trouble. And people that troll on social media don't realize that they're operating like this, and they're violating YouTube's terms of service. They're actually participating in hate speech that does not keep them protected. You know, YouTube knows, listen, all these social media platforms know who you are. When you register, they know exactly who you are. They could block you, they could ban you, they could kick you at any time. This is why some of you as viewers, you say certain things in the live chat and in the comment section, and you think that it's the actual content creator that's blocking your message when it's actually YouTube. Because YouTube won't stand for certain words, certain terms, certain things. If YouTube, the platform itself, picks up on a certain combination of words, they're going to block your message. Why? Because it falls into the category of incitement to violence. A lot of trolls try to incite the content creator that they're trolling into violence. They want to piss them off. They want to get them to say things. They want to get them to react a certain way. You're inciting them to violence. You got other content creators on YouTube right now with tons of videos who weaponize their audience, weaponize their platform, create misinformation and disinformation, a bunch of lies, a bunch of slander, no factual information. They try to pass it on as fact, but it's not factual information. It's just rhetoric coming out of their platform. And they do that to piss off their audience, to incite their audience to rage out towards a target. Why? Because they're cowards themselves, and they're not man enough or woman enough to actually say it themselves directly to that person or actually about that person. So instead, they weaponize their audience. Y'all gotta understand, this is a domestic threat. This is not a foreign threat. This is a domestic threat. Now, let me show you when hate speech is protected, okay? Hate speech is protected when you're expressing unpopular ideas. So, for example, a lot of my content that I do is unpopular. I talk about tough issues. I talk about hardcore talking points that a lot of content creators may be afraid of going into. Why? Because they just don't want to touch on it. I touch on it, but guess what? My content is protected. Somebody might label what I'm saying, even though I'm not saying anything negative about them, as hate speech. They try to twist stuff and contort stuff like somebody who's demon possessed. Twisting and contorting words and narratives as hate speech. But guess what? That's actually protected. The First Amendment protects the right to express unpopular, controversial, or even deeply offensive ideas. You understand that? There's some things you can talk about that are actually okay. And I'm telling you what's protected. Another point that's protected under hate speech: philosophical or abstract statements. For example, abstract statements about hatred or philosophy are generally protected, while concrete actions or threats are not. So what does this mean? This means you could talk about what takes place as it relates to hatred, or you can give an example of hatred or philosophy. But what you can't do is make an actual threat. You cannot do that. You cannot say something bad like that, like what's happening with Charlie Kirk. You got people that are literally coming out and say certain things that are facts, and it's not true. And then they're trying to weaponize their audience with hopes of weaponize a greater audience to get everybody to say the same thing against a particular person or a group of people. Mainly, if you support Charlie Kirk, if you are Charlie Kirk, obviously, as well as his wife and anyone else, weaponize your platforms and your voice against those people to bring attacks towards those people. You can't do that. We're going to get to that in a minute. You also can have hate speech protected when there is counter speech is the remedy. Do you understand? Listen, you know why people hate me? People hate me because I provide the remedy to a lot of things. Do y'all understand? This is what the Bible says. Let me show you what the Bible says real quick. We'll get back to it. Here in Galatians 4:16, the Bible says, how I now become your enemy by telling you the truth. And let me make this clear. All hate speech is not protected under the First Amendment. So anybody coming into the building believing that all hate speech is covered under the First Amendment and protected, it's not. Let me repeat this. All hate speech is not protected under the First Amendment. Many of you just hear a line and you go run with it because y'all don't do your research. You don't understand the full scenario, and y'all think that his word is bond. Y'all think that, oh, okay, I heard that one line, I'm good. No, that's taking things out of context. And what we cannot do is take things out of context. Okay? All hate speech is not protected under the First Amendment. Only some of it. Now, back to the particular article that we were looking at, okay? Because I'm going to give y'all some more examples. We're finally going under the category of what hate speech is protected. When you are doing counter speech, that is the remedy. Okay? A lot of times on my channel, a lot of people don't like me. Why? Because I expose the truth on situations. I provide the truth. I provide the evidence. I'm providing a remedy. I'm letting people see what it is. And people don't like me for it. People be trying to be like, I'm going to report your videos. I tell them, go ahead. You have the freedom to report my videos. But if you think that's going to shut me down and cancel me, you're sadly mistaken, because I'm not violating YouTube's terms of service. If you go report my video because you mad at what I'm saying and you hating on what I'm saying, YouTube is going to look at what I'm saying, and whether you like it or not, they're going to like, he didn't violate YouTube's terms of service. This does not fall under unprotected hate speech. You know, hate to you because you're reporting my channel, you don't like what I say. It's not actually hate speech, but you consider it hate speech. When I say you, I'm talking about those that would try to misreport my video and any other content creator's video. But a lot of times what I do, for example, I'm doing counter speech to the rhetoric that's out here, and it is the remedy to solutions, but yet it's unpopular. It says the best response to speech one finds hateful is often counter speech, not government censorship. Do you see this? That's the main one that people find hateful, counter speech. So if you calling people out, if you showing this and you're doing it the respectful way, you're doing it the right way, they're like, man, I hate that. He telling the truth. She telling the truth. They try to shut you down. They try to silence you. But guess what? That's protected. Now, let's look at the hate speech that's not protected. Here's the first part of hate speech that's not protected. And this is one that a lot of people have done against Charlie Kirk and crew. Incitement to violence. Speech that incites imminent violence or illegal acts is not protected. What is inciting violence? Okay, I think we need to understand what incite means, because a lot of people don't understand what incite means. So let's look at the definition of incite. Incite means to encourage or stir up violent or unlawful behavior. So, for example, if somebody were to say something that would stir up anger against another person, that is inciting violence. If someone were to say something to piss somebody off, to make them want to fight, make them want to kill, make them want to do the exact same thing. Well, I'm gonna make a video and say something about you. That's inciting violence. People weaponize their audience. There's content creators right now on YouTube that have been straight up violating their terms of service, where they're inciting their audience to go clap at somebody. Listen, y'all, I don't use my platform to incite nothing. When somebody come here and they look at my platform, it's like, well, he's not telling his followers or his viewers or subscribers to go to somebody else's platform or go talk about a particular celebrity and incite violence. You can do a call to action. Yes, you have freedom to do a call to action, but when you're inciting violence, that's a whole nother thing. You got this one content creator on YouTube. He done made 1,000 videos about me, sneak dissing me and actual dissing me. And he's incited his viewers to try to fight me in the streets, come up here, do this, all types of crazy stuff. Troll me online, trying to get law enforcement, get people on me, and all that stuff just died out, because there's no truth to what that particular content creator is doing. And then he tries to also get other content creators to do the same thing. That's hate speech that's not protected. That's inciting, that's stirring up stuff. You're stirring up emotions, you're stirring up thoughts, you're stirring things up. You can't stir up the pot like that in a negative manner. I know y'all don't like this content. I know y'all don't like this video. I don't care if you don't like it. I'm giving you the facts. I'm giving you the remedy. This is the remedy to silencing hate speech. Just like I showed y'all earlier right here. Counter speech is the remedy. I'm countering all the lies, all the misconceptions, and etc. out here on social media. So when people make content and they make videos and they calling Charlie Kirk all types of names and he deserved it, he's getting his justice and his karma, that's what you get. They're laughing, they're mocking, they're celebrating. You're inciting violence. That's why people got fired on the job. Guess what? Those same people that worked on the job and went to social media and said all those things, guess what? They're inciting violence. They're inciting other people to say and stir up and say the exact same things with Charlie Kirk. Or worse. Or worse. Y'all got to understand, that is a domestic threat. Domestic threat. Y'all talk about y'all follow and uphold the Constitution. Some of y'all claim you follow and uphold the God of the Lord of Lords, the King of Kings, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob in the Bible. But then when it comes down to it, y'all allow the domestic threats, the domestic terrorism. That's right. Y'all support people who incite violence, incite illegal acts. That's not protected. You see, if you think that that's protected under freedom of speech, watch what's going to happen. More and more people are going to get their channels shut down, canceled, and demonetized. Y'all keep on believing. Y'all keep on going and watch. I tried to tell y'all in my other video, but y'all ain't listening to me. Boom, it hit the YouTuber, big popular YouTuber with the white privilege. White guy by the name of Destiny, he so-called got the white privilege. So if it's hitting people with the white privilege, some of those people that were working, they got fired. Some of those teachers, I think the FBI agent that got fired for going in on Charlie Kirk, I believe that a lot of them was white. From my research, a good number of it, I didn't look at every single person, but a lot of them was white. They had the white privilege. They could say what they want to say and been getting away with stuff. Listen, we in a time and day and age where we just can't move that way. Let's get to the other points, okay? Hate speech is not protected when there's actually true threats. Speech that constitutes a true threat of violence against an individual or group is not protected. So if you come on YouTube, you lie on somebody's name, you weaponize your platform talking about, yeah, man, this is what we want to do to you. This is what should happen. Guess what? That's not protected. If you talk about what you would do to an individual or what should happen to an individual, you're constituting a threat of violence, meaning, yay, what happened to Charlie Kirk? Yeah, that's okay. He got what he deserved. He got shot in the neck, blood gushing out right in front of his wife and his kids and everybody else. Yeah, that's okay. You're saying that's okay. That's what Destiny did. He's not condemning what happened to Charlie Kirk, which means he's saying that that type of violent act is okay. He's saying that he's standing in support of that violent act, even though he didn't utter those words. Because when it comes to speech, you don't have to utter the words to actually stand for something. Your complicit behavior, your silence on particular matters, your particular stance is saying whether you agree or disagree with something. Come on now, that's speech. Your voice is speech, whether you say something or don't. You sit back, we ain't speaking on it. That means you're okay with it because you're not speaking out against it. Discriminatory harassment. This is what also happens big time on YouTube, and this is what trolls do. Trolls do this all the time. While hate speech may be offensive, it can become unprotected if it escalates to discriminatory or criminal harassment. This is why you can't run around on your 9 to 5 on your job and be like, I'm going to say something about somebody who dresses a certain way or somebody who looks a certain way or a particular client or customer. You can't go around saying that. You can't do that. Because of their beliefs or what they actually engage in or not engage in or don't believe or how they dress or whatever it is. You can't do that. You got content creators right now on YouTube that's weaponizing their whole platforms, going against whole political parties. And when I say going against political parties, I'm talking about they literally want to form an army as a threat against another particular political group. Or you got people right now that's calling MAGA dirty. So if you're a Trump supporter, if you believe in making America great again, whether you're a Trump supporter or not, You got content creators that actually calling you dirty, that got people to look at you like something's wrong with you, something's evil about you, to incite violence and to incite people to say, listen, violence is not always putting physical hands on you. Your words are also a form of violence. People gotta listen, man. I don't know if I be talking to elementary school kids or if I'm talking to actual adults. Your words are violent. You understand? Life and death are in the power of the tongue, according to the Bible. Someone's words is a form of violence. You're attacking somebody. You don't have to always physically attack somebody. Do y'all understand this? A lot of people only see one definition. They only see one facet of what's going on here. Hate speech can become unprotected if it escalates to discriminatory or criminal harassment. So guess what? There's a lot of people right now that's been dragging Charlie Kirk, running around saying he's a racist, saying he's a white supremacist, saying he was somebody evil, saying that he wasn't a Christian, he didn't believe in God. They're going around saying all of this stuff without actual facts, without any proof. And what they're doing is that's very offensive. And not only are they saying that, they're saying that at a time when a man just died violently, at a time when his family are mourning. They literally got the funeral service for Charlie Kirk going on right now while I'm live streaming. You don't think that's offensive to say it at a time like this? And people are dragging his name. You got black folks, white folks, green folks, yellow folks dragging Charlie Kirk's name, saying all types of offensive and disrespectful things, thinking that they are protected under the First Amendment. They're not, because it now becomes discriminatory. You're showing that you're discriminating against Charlie Kirk. You're discriminating against anybody who supports Kirk, any of his family, and other people as well. Also, here's one last category that's not protected of hate speech, when it's become defamation and obscenity. So other categories of speech like defamatory statements and obscenity are also not protected under the First Amendment. But y'all think that's protected. Come on now. Let's look at some more of this. Hate versus free speech. Right here. On this green category, you got the characteristics, what it is. The purple, or should I say the lighter lilac color category, purple, is hate speech. And then the darker shade of purple is free speech. So, for example, what is the purpose? Hate speech's purpose is to incite violence against others. That's what trolls do when they come into the chat. Or they be like, I'm gonna do this to you. I'm about, like, they literally tell you what they're gonna do. I'll kick your bleep, bleep, bleep if you come to this state or you come here. That's inciting violence. Do you understand? That's considered hate speech that's not protected. All right? Free speech says it allows people to share their beliefs, thoughts, and ideas openly. That's what Charlie Kirk did a lot of. In his debates, he allowed people to share their beliefs, thoughts, and ideas openly. Openly means you're not going to get crashed out on just because you don't agree with somebody. Okay? Here's another thing. Encourages debate. Does hate speech encourage a debate? No. Hate speech encourages violence. Free speech says it does encourage the debate, and it presents two sides to an issue. That's what Charlie Kirk engaged in a lot of. Okay, we're looking at, does hate speech have an effect on society? It degrades the society through unnecessary factions. You against me against you, this person against that person, blah, 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 blah. And you got a lot of content creators that are trying to create factions and division in society instead of bringing people together. Their job is to cause division, to cause separation. They unite through separation. They unite through creating factions. Their whole goal, and they try to lie and hide. There's some content creators, I got to call it, they're literally engaging in hate speech. Some of these same content creators have done hate speech against me. They call you names. They say all people that fall into this category, all people that talk about this stuff, they say that black people that make content talking about white people or black people that make content calling out other black people in the community that's not doing right. They say something's wrong with you. Why? They do this to incite violence, to create a faction, to weaponize, yeah, I don't like that person. I'm going to do this to that person. Okay? What effect on society does free speech have? It improves the society through social change. So when you have free speech, it allows for social change. See, a lot of people look at hate speech and they're actually trying to put hate speech in the category of free speech, and that's not true. That's not correct. They try to justify hate speech through the categories of free speech. What effect does hate speech have on oneself? It hurts oneself and gets socially punished. You get demonetized, you get blocked, you get shut down. You can bring violence and stuff towards you. What effect does on oneself does free speech have? You generally get supported. What attitudes towards a minority does hate speech create? It creates a prejudice. It creates racism. It creates hate. It makes you hate a particular group of people. What attitude towards a minority does free speech does? It protects and values. Is hate speech humane? No, it's not. Is free speech humane? Yes, it is. Okay, and does hate speech hate crime? No, they're pro-crime. They're for crime. Free speech is against crime. So example, anybody that's operating in free speech should be against the crime of Charlie Kirk getting assassinated violently. They should be against that. Whether you agree with him or not, you should be against that. But guess what? There are hundreds of thousands of people, if not millions of people. It's like, yeah, Charlie Kirk got what he deserved. I got freedom of speech. I can say what I want. You know you're inciting violence, right? You're inciting race. That's not protected. That means that if you get silenced, you get fired on your job. Listen, y'all got to understand this. You do know, even if you delete your comments or you delete your videos or your posts, social media can go back and pull those up. If an employer wants to hire you, they can get access to those records. They're like, aha, I see what you said. I see what you did. And I see that now you try to delete it and clean up. You got content creators right now that's trying to do damage control. You got people trying to do damage control because they seeing what's happened, but people that's speaking negatively against Charlie Kirk. Now they try to act like they in support and they cool, but guess what? All your old rhetoric is out there. So we know what you're doing. It's clear. So anyway, man, let me get to some more video content. I'll leave that up here. I just kind of want y'all to understand what's going on. All right, let's get to another video with this guy. Let's play this real quick.
Destiny was apparently demonetized on YouTube. That's a decision that YouTube made. Did you guys see that or no?
No, I didn't see that.
Yes.
I think that happened because he said something. What did he say? Another clip was circulating that he said, I hope Charlie Kirk's, you know which one I'm talking about right there? Zoom in a little bit, AFP post.
Come on,
Liberal streamer Destiny, who recently refused to disavow the political motivated assassination of Charlie Kirk, has been demonetized on YouTube. I don't like to see it. I don't agree with 99% of what this guy says. If this guy doesn't incite violence and say things like that, you'd still be up. We still need the opposition of arguments.
Yep.
Yeah, listen, y'all. The opposition of arguments is completely fine. That's the American way. No one's saying you can't have a difference of opinion. The problem is people are trying to claim that what is actually hate speech, they claim that that's free speech, and it's not. It's hate speech, and they're trying to clone it and cloak it and cover it up as free speech. You can't do that. You just can't do that. I'm sorry. You cannot do that. It's fine if you got a disagreement or a difference of opinion. That's what makes the world awesome. But there's a difference between a disagreement and hate speech.
You know, but there's one rule I have. The inciting violence. Okay? All the other stuff, people want to make fun of him, how he chose to be married to this other girl, how he chose to be. That's his personal life. I don't care what he wants to do with that part. One rule I have. The inciting violence. Okay? All the other stuff, people want to make fun of him, how he chose to be married to this other girl, how he chose to be. That's his personal life. I don't care what he wants to do with that part. But one rule I have. The inciting violence. Okay? All the other stuff, people want to make fun of him, how he chose to be married to this other girl, how he chose to be. That's his personal life. I don't care what he wants to do with that part. But you cross the line and you say something about Republicans and MAGA and capitalists and all this with Sam Piker, these guys, there's a slippery slope. What he wants to do with that part. But you cross the line and you say something about Republicans and MAGA and capitalists and all this with Sam Piker, these guys, there's a slippery slope. Do with that part. But you cross the line and you say something about Republicans and MAGA and capitalists and all this with Sam Piker, these guys, there's a slippery slope.
And that's the slippery slope that people do. So they're trying to take Charlie Kirk, then they throw a bunch of other people, they throw Trump in it, they throw MAGA in it, they throwing like all these people. Listen, there's a lot of Democrats right now, there's a lot of people on the left that are using Charlie Kirk's death as an opportunity to attack the right, to attack Republicans, to attack conservatives, to attack anybody that has this type of ideology. Okay? There's a lot of people. You got content creators all of a sudden has gone on a war path since Charlie Kirk has died. And instead of actually just talking about what happened, they try to make a slew of content to use this as an opportunity to attack. And people claim that that's actually right. This is crazy, man. This is absolutely crazy. Let me get to another video here. Because again, this is a warning to you as content creators. Y'all can't just say what you want, man. Yeah, shout out to Carson. Carson says, and there are a lot of people on the right using Charlie's death for profit. Well, I'll say this. If you believe they're using Charlie's death for profit, my suggestion would be is to actually prove it. When anybody, let me just make this point. When you say things on social media, it's always good to provide some type of proof and evidence. Because what happens is if you say things and you don't provide proof and evidence, then it becomes a slippery slope. Then it becomes, well, is it just rhetoric? What is your reason for saying it? Where are you going? While we're on the same subject, there are a lot of people on the left that are using Charlie Kirk's death for profit. All of a sudden, everybody became a Charlie Kirk basher, a Charlie Kirk exposer. All these people all of a sudden start making 1,000 videos on their YouTube channels and on their platforms to drag Charlie Kirk. And guess what? They getting likes, they getting clicks, they getting views, they getting monetization for every last one of those videos. You understand? So to make a statement as to make it seem like there are only people on the right that are quote unquote getting paid from Charlie Kirk's death, you cannot just say that. You have to say that there are people potentially on the right and left that are profiting from Charlie Kirk's death. Because the fact is, if you really want to break it down, there are people potentially on both sides. But does that mean that everybody on the left is profiting off of Charlie Kirk's death? No, that's not true. No statement like that can be said. Because there's people on the left that are not profiting off of Charlie Kirk's death. Same thing. There's people on the right that are not profiting off of Charlie Kirk's death. But what happens is a lot of people will try to take shots and try to take digs and try to say real things and make it seem like they just speaking, but what it is actually a shot. They taking shots, they taking digs like, let me see if I can bring down the right. Let me see if I can bring down the left. Let me see if I can incite anger. Let me see if I can say something to piss people off towards anybody that's on the right. See, I gotta understand, man, y'all gotta be careful with what you say. Again, the Bible says life and death are in the power of the tongue. What we say can create life or it can create death. We got to understand this. And all I'm saying is that those of you that are viewers, I don't want to hear no story or find out that you lost your job because you said something about Charlie Kirk or anyone for that matter. I don't want anybody to lose their jobs. Listen, I don't weaponize my platform. People might consider what I'm saying hate speech. What I do is I provide solutions on my platform. Remember when I showed y'all that category? Let me get back to it real quick. Right here at the top where it says counter speech is the remedy. Do you understand? I use my platform right here. Let me put it in the middle. Counter speech is the remedy. I provide a solution. I'm providing people information, education. I didn't actually go in and I didn't attack or drag Destiny. I just talked about what he said and what he did as the content creator. Now, somebody could disagree with me. That's fine. We can have a healthy debate in terms of disagreeing. We can have a difference of opinion. That's actually called free speech. But there's a difference between having a difference of opinion and actually attacking somebody. And this is why people are catching hell for attacking Charlie Kirk. They're not disagreeing with Charlie Kirk. They're attacking him. They're calling him names that aren't true. They're saying things about him that aren't true. They're jumping on the bandwagon of other people. And they feel and they believe that because some famous person or some big platform got away with it, that it's okay for them as an average viewer or watcher or whatever to say the same things. And what's happening is average people losing their jobs. You got big people getting canceled. You saw Jimmy Kimmel was yet the other big platform to get canceled. And I said that this is going to happen to content creators. And you had content creators that spoke boldly like, this won't happen. We're not worried. Okay, keep thinking that mindset. Keep thinking that you can violate the protection of the First Amendment. Listen, anywhere we go, we got to understand the laws. We got to understand the rules. Just like in different states. Certain things are legal in one state that's not legal in another. Certain things are allowed in one state that's not allowed in another. We got to understand the laws. A lot of people don't know. So what I'm doing is providing solutions. And you know, this video ain't getting the views it should. Y'all know they trying to like censor this particular video because social media want the rhetoric. You understand? These social media platforms, it's like they be against it, but then it's like it's become so toxic that it's almost like it's allowed even though they're against it, if that makes sense. I'm just trying to kind of touch on a point. So it's like when you speak about this, right? So like, look at this. This is considered hate speech. I want y'all to see an example. You have somebody in the chat by the name of Toro de Fuego. Says the facts are still that Charlie Kirk was a loud bigot. Okay, let me show you what bigot mean. Okay. Okay. I want to show you what that he's a big that what this guy is saying. Okay. This person says that Charlie Kirk is a bigot. Okay. The definition, if you look at this, wait a minute, hold on a second, y'all. I had to come back to something. I had a message pop up. If you look at the definition here, bigot, it says a person who is obstinately or unreasonably attached to a belief, opinion, or faction, especially one who is prejudiced against or antagonistic towards a person or people on the basis of their membership or particular group. What I want Toro de Fuego to do is prove how Charlie Kirk was prejudiced towards a group of people. You know, that would be black people. Because I know that's what he's trying to say. So I want him to prove how Charlie Kirk was prejudiced towards black people. Come on now. And for anybody that's talking negatively about Destiny, no curse words. Okay? No profanity and all of that stuff in my chat. Why? Because profanity can be considered, depending on how it's used and how a lot of people use, that profanity can be considered hate speech. Okay? So I can't allow certain words towards somebody because my platform is not a hate platform. I might expose truth about people. I might reveal certain evidence and proof and receipts, but I cannot sit there and support that type of speech because that's not protected. And what that does is that puts my platform at risk. Now, if you want to create a YouTube channel or a social media platform and you want to say those things, by all means, go right ahead. You got the freedom to do it, but that's on you. It's not on me. Listen, a lot of people are saying a lot of negative things about Charlie Kirk. It's just not true. Let's look at this real quick and let's get to the video because I got a video that I'm trying to play. Okay, another set of free speech versus hate speech. Free speech allows you to share opinion through open discussion. You can have an open discussion to share your opinion. Hate speech targets particular groups with malicious intentions. And that's why some people leaving comments, their comments are designed to target a particular group or individual with malicious intentions. Like the people's intentions, I don't like them. I want to say something bad. That's their intentions. You understand? That's hate speech. And that's not protected under the First Amendment because you're targeting them with intention to bring violence. Whether it's word violence, physical violence, it's violence. There's many forms of violence. Like, am I talking to elementary school kids or am I talking to adults? I figure as adults, we should know that there's more than one form of violence. Folks think about just putting hands on or shooting bullets is the only forms of violence. Y'all only resort to physical violence. There's more than just physical violence. You have emotional violence. You have spiritual violence, amongst other forms of violence. Violence that causes harm to your particular platform or your existence is violence. You understand? Listen, a lot of people are on hate speech. They on demon time. I say this all the time. So many people be on demon time and they just don't understand. Then when stuff happens, they be like, well, why did this happen? Anyway, let's go on. Free speech is a way to exchange, teach, learn, and challenge each other's perspectives. What I do on my platform, I challenge people's perspectives the same way that Charlie Kirk did. I challenge their perspectives. I ask people questions. I present your argument that you believe that Charlie Kirk was a bigot. You understand? When I do stuff like that, then all of a sudden it falls on deaf ears. Why do you think it falls on deaf ears? Because the person's original intention was not free speech. Their original intention was hate speech that's not protected under the First Amendment. Come on now. Free speech actually encourages... Oh, let me go back. So free speech allows a way to exchange, teach, learn, and challenge each other's perspectives. But what hate speech does is it insults about individual identity. Okay, it insults your identity. Okay, free speech allows for debates, right? Conversations, education, criticism, and sharing of experiences. That's what free speech supports. But what hate speech supports is insults about individual identity, racism, sexism, homophobia, biphobia, transphobia, disableist, xenophobia, Islamophobia, and anti-Semitism. That's what hate speech does. Oh, I don't like that person because they this. Oh, this person talked about this. There's a lot of hate speech going on about Charlie Kirk right now. And a lot of people getting exposed. Let me go ahead. Yeah, a targeted Christian is right. Those crickets are so loud right now. Okay? Ain't nobody talking right now. A lot of people are quiet. A lot of people are quiet. I'm going to play this video real quick. Let me play this video because y'all got to understand this. Let's go.
Popular streamer Stephen Bonnell, also known as Destiny, well, he got into a very heated debate with Anna Kasparian of the Young Turks on the Piers Morgan Show.
The two were part of a panel discussing Charlie Kirk's death and suspected assassin. Now, Morgan asked Destiny, who's pretty left-wing.
Wait a minute. I want to see what somebody's talking about. A targeted Christian says it's protected. Stop with the lies. Stop being weak sauce. You can't counter hate if you don't hear it. Are you talking to me, a targeted Christian? Okay, listen, let me show you. Free speech allows for healthy debate. So now we're on the floor of debate. Are you talking to me, a targeted Christian? I want to know this. Don't get quiet on me if you're talking to me. I want to know if you're talking to me, a targeted Christian. I got your comment on the screen, and I want to know. Are you talking to me saying that hate speech is protected? And that you're saying that I'm lying about hate speech being protected and what's not protected? And that you're trying to call me that I'm being weak sauced? Don't get quiet on me now. You got 60 seconds to respond because you were responding very quick in the chat. You got a bunch of comments coming real quick in the chat. So the people watching my show want to know, are you speaking about me saying that? I want to know because, again, certain things are protected. Come on now. We want to know. I want to know. Don't get quiet. I want y'all to see this, y'all, because whether this person gets quiet or not, I want you to see if this is directed to me. Listen, I don't want to assume. That's why I'm asking questions. I ask a lot of questions on my platform. And I give people a chance to state what they're saying. That is called free speech. You understand? Okay, so a targeted, listen, I want to show you this. A targeted Christian, here's the irony. The person calls themselves a targeted Christian. A targeted Christian says, yes, it is directed towards me, and that this person was talking to me, said that they got a phone call. Okay, now I want to show you this. Watch this. I want to show you this. A targeted Christian says that hate speech is protected, and that I'm lying about hate speech, and that I'm being weak sauce, and says that it's the First Amendment right. But watch this. Watch this, y'all. Let me show you this. Okay, let's get this on the screen. I've already shown this earlier, but it seems like I need to show y'all. Okay? I think y'all need to understand about hate speech. First of all, let's go here. Is hate speech protected under the freedom of speech? Yes. Hate speech is generally protected by the First Amendment in the United States. But guess what? A targeted Christian stops there. A targeted Christian is not going on to read what it says and what I've already shown and proven this earlier. It says, yes, hate speech is generally, notice it doesn't say all. It says it's generally protected by the First Amendment in the United States, as the government is not supposed to suppress ideas that are disagreeable or offensive, even if they're hateful. Guess what? A targeted Christian is stopping there. But guess what? It says this. However, and I've already broken this down earlier, but we got to go through this again because it's like people not listening. However, this protection is not absolute. Do you understand it's a targeted Christian? Your so-called hate speech is not absolute. Do you understand? A person's hate speech is not absolute. You believe that because you heard that hate speech is generally, not absolute, generally protected under the First Amendment, you just go run with it. And not only you, there are thousands of content creators, thousands of people on public platforms and private platforms that believe I can say what I want. It's protected. I got the First Amendment to say what I want. But guess what? That First Amendment right is not absolute. Okay? Guess what? Hate speech protection is not absolute, and it does not, I repeat, does not cover speech that crosses, okay? Crosses into unprotected categories. I've already gone through this. It seems like I'm sounding like a broken record. What are unprotected categories? A targeted Christian, incitement to violence, true threats, or discriminatory harassment. So, for example, this person actually said that I'm being weak sauced. You don't think that that's a form of harassment? You don't think that's a form of harassment? It says it's lies. Guess what? Let's come here where hate speech once again is unprotected. When you incite violence. Speech that incites imminent violence or illegal acts is not protected. Again, we went through the definition of incite. What does incite mean? I got to get it on the screen, right? Because again, free speech is healthy debate. Incite means encouraging or stirring up violence or unlawful behavior. You're stirring up people to either attack somebody with their words, attack somebody spiritually, attack somebody physically. That's inciting. Certain comments encourage people. It stirs up their emotions. It stirs up their thoughts. It gets them going to want to respond a certain way. And if those particular statements weren't made, it wouldn't stir them up. Okay? So stirring up people, that's inciting. That's the definition of incite when we look at these particular categories of inciting violence. That's not protected under the First Amendment. What else is not protected under the First Amendment as it relates to hate speech? True threats. Speech that constitute a true threat of violence against an individual or a group is not protected. You got people that's right now saying that certain people should crash out on a whole group. That is literally violence against a group. Listen, you could disagree with a group all day long to the bank and back. But to incite violence, saying that something should happen to them, etc., that's not protected. You understand? Guess what else is not protected? Discriminatory harassment. Let me tell you what's discriminatory harassment. Somebody might be a Charlie Kirk supporter, and you bash them for supporting Charlie Kirk. You're being discriminatory for them just because they support Charlie Kirk. Or because Trump supported Charlie Kirk and Trump is MAGA, make America great again, you be discriminatory towards anybody that's MAGA. Or if somebody subscribes to the religious belief of being a Christian because Charlie Kirk was a Christian, then you bash all Christians. You see what's going on? That's considered discriminatory because you may not be a Christian, but because that person is, you don't like them. Or if you're white and somebody else is black and you don't like them because they black, that's discriminatory. Or if you're black and you don't like Charlie Kirk, for example, because he's white, that's discriminatory. The list goes on and on and on, right? I'm giving y'all examples, all right? Hate speech. It says, while hate speech may be offensive, we expect hate speech to be offensive. Here's where it's not protected under the First Amendment. It can become unprotected if it escalates to discriminatory or criminal harassment. So if somebody's talking about, you're lying because you're doing this, you're talking about, that's harassment. Check this out. I never call a targeted Christian anything. But what you see here, a targeted Christian came into my chat saying that I'm being weak sauced, saying that I'm protecting lies, like I'm lying and all this stuff. Listen, man, a lot of y'all don't understand how this stuff works. And also, defamation or obscenity, those are categories of hate speech that are not protected. Defamatory statements. Listen, y'all got to see what defamatory means, right? Let's see what this means. Okay, what is a defamatory statement? Defamatory means it could be writing, it could be folks in the live chat in the comment section of any platform, making videos. Defamatory, what does that mean? You're damaging the good reputation of someone. You're saying something slanderous. You're trying to slander a person, right? What does slander mean? See, a lot of y'all hear these words and y'all don't understand what these words even mean. What does slander mean? Slander means the action or crime. You know this is a crime, right? Of making what? A false spoken statement. Damaging to a person's reputation. So, for example, if you look at this comment that's right here on the screen that a targeted Christian said, this person called me weak sauce. That is a false statement. That person said that I'm lying about what the First Amendment hate speech protection is and what's not protected under hate speech. You see that? right? And then you got, listen, I ain't got time to people spam in the chat, okay? You got people in the chat that's just, listen, those people in the chat are just gone, okay? Because these people are literally children who don't want to have an adult conversation. Now, let me say this. If you as the individual believe that what I'm saying is not true, then you go right ahead, just like all the people that's been bashing Charlie Kirk negatively. Listen, you can disagree with Charlie Kirk all day long. Nobody's saying you got to agree with him. You got to agree with the talking points. There's a difference between disagreeing and hate speech that's not protected. And guess what? It is up to the particular targeted audience to determine whether that hate speech is defamatory. See, the person saying hate speech is not the one that gets to determine whether it is obscene, whether it's harassment, etc., whether it's a threat. It is the targeted audience that determines that. So the person saying it can say, hey, that's not what I'm saying. No, it don't matter what you say. What matters is what the target audience says. Come on now. And then listen to this. I'm about to do a poll on a targeted Christian right now. He says, grow a backbone. You're God that week. Listen, this is proof that a targeted Christian is not a Christian. Because I serve the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. What God do you serve a targeted Christian? Because you're saying that you're a Christian, but obviously you're not serving the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob if you're calling my God weak. Because what you're actually saying is you're calling your own God weak. To everybody else in the chat, put a 1 in the chat if I'm making sense. And put a 3 in the chat if you think a targeted Christian is making sense. I want to see what's going on. Because this guy is saying grow a backbone when all I'm doing is report information. What do you mean grow a backbone? Grow a backbone for what? What am I supposed to grow a backbone on? This is what we're asking. What am I supposed to grow a backbone on? I didn't back down from having a healthy debate against you. I didn't back down from nothing, presenting this information. Seems to me like I got a good backbone. And I called you out while you claim you was on a phone call when you be quick to pop off in the chat. You've been popping off left and right in the chat, but then when I called you out, you got quiet. And I had to keep calling you and calling you. And then all of a sudden, you claim you had a phone call. But yet, you can take a phone call while you still on YouTube and respond in the chat. Most of these modern day phones have the ability to play videos in the background while they're on a phone call. I mean, I don't know. Maybe you don't have that technology. The point is, what am I supposed to grow a backbone with? See, this is the point that we're talking about. What am I supposed to grow a backbone with? I've been addressing you this whole time. Come on now. Listen, y'all, I only gave this person that particular time to show you an example of how people are treading the line of hate speech, how people are treading the line of hate speech that's not protected. Do you understand? This particular person calls themselves a Christian, but yet is doing nothing but spewing a bunch of negative stuff about me. So if they're spewing a bunch of negative stuff about me that's not true, what do you think they're saying about Charlie Kirk? And what does that say about their so-called walk and so-called faith if they call themselves a Christian? A Christian's not supposed to engage this way. A Christian is not supposed to speak this way. And then you wonder why this person actually says that they're targeted. It seems to me like they're doing more of the targeting than them being targeted. It seems to me if they believe that they're targeted, it could be, and we're raising could be, because I don't know this person personally, but it could be because of the rhetoric that comes out of their mouth. Because they did what would be considered hate speech towards me right here in the chat. Listen, I ain't losing no sleep about it. I don't give two explicatives about it, no flying flip about it. What I'm trying to tell y'all is making a point of an example of how people do hate speech all the time and they don't even realize they're doing it. That's the only reason why I entertain this, so that y'all can see. Y'all can see in real time how this works. You see? You see how this works? This goes against what you're supposed to operate as a Christian. I did not call this person one name, but this person called me none but names. You see? Telling you, man, it's crazy, man. It's absolutely crazy. And what this person did was try to come through in another account and try to say comments under another account. And this is what they generally do. They'll come through as one account, try to create another account, say what they was trying to say when they get caught on that account under another account, and they keep the rhetoric going. Anyway, man, let's play this video. We ain't got time for these trolls. Let's go. Let's run it back from the top.
Popular streamer Stephen Bennell, also known as Destiny, well, he got into a very heated debate with Anna Kasparian of the Young Turks on the Piers Morgan Show.
The two were part of a panel discussing Charlie Kirk's death and suspected assassin. Now, Morgan asked Destiny, who's pretty left-wing, whether he condemned the assassination of Kirk if it turned out Robinson was in fact of leftist bend. Here's his response.
If it turns out to have been somebody with a leftist ideology who wanted to shut up Charlie Kirk, would you condemn that?
I won't condemn anything until the president of the United States can go on air and say, all of us need to calm down.
That's when Kasparian jumped in and things got a bit chaotic.
Why is your behavior contingent on Donald Trump?
Insane right now.
Why do you
think?
your
No, let me
behavior
ask a
contingent
question.
on Donald Trump?
Let me ask a question.
Because he's the president of the United States of America and the leader of the opposing political party.
Destiny. Let me
You
just...
have a huge audience of young men who listen to everything you have to say. So when it doesn't matter. You have a huge audience.
Destiny also got pressed for an Instagram post where he seemingly mocked Charlie Kirk's widow. Specifically,
you hear this? He did an Instagram post to mock. This is Destiny, the content creator. He mocked Charlie Kirk's wife, Erica. Listen, y'all, just like you had a targeted Christian come into the live chat and mock me. A targeted Christian called me, I don't have no backbone, called me I'm weak, called me I'm spitting a bunch of lies. This is crazy, man. Anyway, let's go, man. See, this is what I be trying to point out to y'all through real-time examples. Let's go.
he accused her of fake crying and also laughed at the fact that Erica Kirk tagged Charlie in a post mourning him.
How are you going to literally laugh at somebody about somebody who tagged a post that her husband... Man, I tell you, man, people are crazy and cruel, man. This is crazy. Like, I tell you, man, you can't make this stuff up, man.
Here's Destiny defending his actions.
I just don't understand it. That's it. I don't understand it. I don't understand you, Destiny. You have so much hatred in your heart, and at the same time, you judge others
If you're
as
going to
hateful.
weaponize somebody's grief against the other party, well, then of course people have a right to fight back against it. I think that she has every right to grieve in whatever way she wants, but when that grief is going to be weaponized to do recruitment, political recruitment, and further radicalization of the other side, then of course you not only have the ability to mock it, I think you have the obligation to mock it. It's insane.
He said to mock it. Listen to what Destiny said. Let me run this back. He didn't say to speak out against it. He said to mock it. Listen, y'all got to understand what mock means. You know this video is being like blocked. You know I should have like a lot more views than I'm having. I got way more likes than I got views. Let me show y'all what mock means. Y'all need to understand what mock means, okay? Mock means to tease. You're teasing somebody. You're laughing at somebody. And how are you doing it? You're doing it in a scornful or contemptuous manner. You're not being authentic. You're not being real. You're trying to deceive people. When people say mocking Charlie Kirk, when they talk about mocking an individual, that's what that guy that came in earlier, a targeted Christian, he was mocking me. That guy, Brainwaves, doesn't have a backbone. Yet I was the one who called him out for a healthy debate, which is freedom of speech. A healthy debate. Who has the backbone here? I called him out on what he said. I provided the information, and this guy still didn't provide no information. All he provided was opinions, and yet he says that I'm the one lying, but yet he's the one that's lying. Because I showed you what the law says. And if you don't believe me, go ask any competent attorney. Go ask any legal expert. Go talk to any of these platforms. Look at their rules, their terms of service. Go to your job. Go to any legitimate place that's established and see if I'm lying. We're going to see who's lying here. Right? You got to understand it. So anyway, let's go on. Let's continue. Let's run this back what he said.
I don't understand you, Destiny. You have so much hatred in your heart, and at the same time, you judge others
If you're
as
going to
hateful.
weaponize somebody's grief against the other party, well, then of course people have a right to fight back against it. I think that she has every right to grieve in whatever way she wants, but when that grief is going to be weaponized to do recruitment, political recruitment, and further radicalization of the other side, then of course you not only have the ability to mock it, I think you have the obligation to mock it. It's insane.
He said, not only do you have the ability to mock, you have the obligation to mock. That's inciting violence. Remember when I showed you about inciting certain things? He says, not only do you have the ability to mock, you have the obligation to mock. When we come back here and we look at what is, here it is. Look, incitement to violence. Mocking someone is a form of violence. Again, you have verbal violence, you have emotional violence, you have spiritual violence, you have physical violence. There's different forms of violence. I'm sorry people don't like that, but it is what it is. That's an incitement to violence. Come on now. Destiny just incited people to use speech to mock, which he's trying to incite violence. When someone mocks a person, they're doing it to incite anger. Why? Because they're mad at that particular audience or that particular individual. So they're trying to bring as much harm, as much harassment, as much whatever against a particular person. Okay? And that's not protected under free speech. I got to make this clear. People, listen, you have the right to disagree with me, but don't come to my YouTube channel talking about my platform got canceled, my channel got shut down, I got fired from my 9 to 5 because you chose to mock somebody. Like I said, go towards a particular group of people and try to mock them. Go online for all of y'all that believe that you're right about mocking somebody. Go mock the trans community. Go mock the LGBTQIA etc. community. Go to your 9 to 5 and go mock your coworkers and see what happens. I'm talking about like say it where they can hear it. Do it where they can see it. It's not protected. Listen, this person said, Oracle of Joe Biden. Listen, are we dealing with elementary school people that's watching my channel or are we dealing with adults? Hate speech is protected to a certain extent. It's not protected through and through. It's not absolute. Is hate speech protected, generally speaking, under the First Amendment? Yes. However, this protection is not absolute. There are people in the comment section right now believing that hate speech is an absolute protection. No, it's not. It's not an absolute protection. And it does not cover speech that crosses into unprotected categories, such as incitement to violence, true threats, and discriminatory harassment. People don't understand what harassment is. Let's look at harassment, okay? Y'all think that y'all can say what you want and harass somebody? Go on your job and do it publicly. I want to see what harassment happens to you by harassing somebody on the job. Okay, what is harassment? It says aggressive pressure or intimidation. People want to apply aggressive pressure towards somebody, making somebody feel pressure, making somebody feel uncomfortable. You cannot do that. Come on now. You cannot harass somebody. Yeah, Waco says in some cases you can go to jail for hate speech. Yes. Why do you think Jimmy Kimmel got fired? No, indefinitely. He ain't coming back. He's done. He's going to have to go somewhere else if he's going to, come out in the public and do something. Why you think this stuff is happening to regular people who are using their platforms to say harassing things towards Charlie Kirk, towards his wife, towards family members, towards people? Listen, people harass you here on social media. They do it all the time and they think it's okay. You cannot do that. That's not hate speech that's protected. That's unprotected hate speech. Content creators that are weaponizing their platforms go against the terms of service to try to go in on other content creators. That's harassment. That is against the law. That is unprotected. And guess what? People reap what you sow. It's called karma in other terms of doctrine. If you go around harassing people, you wonder why people get harassed. We had this one person in the chat earlier called a targeted Christian. The way that that individual spoke towards me when I didn't say anything negative towards that person, you wonder why that person believes that they're targeted. Because they go around targeting people. And again, no cursing in my chat. Okay? Y'all, no cursing in my chat. Anyway, let's get back to the video. Let's go.
Destiny then went on to troll conservatives on X by pretending that he had been banned on Twitch yesterday. On X, he posted a screenshot of an email from Twitch saying he was banned, along with the caption, "Unreal, Elon Musk and other conservatives just got me banned from Twitch. My entire income's gone now. So much for the party of free speech." Bunch of social media users fell for this, including me, actually. I thought that was the first time he'd been banned. But now a community note said Destiny had already been banned from Twitch in March of 2022.
And mind you, it wasn't just March of 2022. He had got banned in 2018, 2021, and 2022. So this is not the first time that Destiny has come under fire for saying stuff. And see, this is what be happening to people. Listen, you're inciting violence. You're inciting rage. If somebody end up doing something, I'm not saying two wrongs make a right. But what happens is they're going to look at who started it, who started the mess. And that's what happens to people. You can disagree with them. There's a way that you can say things. But there's people just think that harassment is like automatic. You can't do that. That violates legal law, spiritual law, moral law, social law. Like there's so many laws that violates. But you know, if y'all want to disagree with me, you're more than welcome to disagree with me. But all I got to say is don't come back to Brainwaves Advice Topics LLC engaging in unprotected hate speech. And if something happens to you negatively, don't come back here and say I didn't tell you so. Okay? Come on now. And look at this. Look at this. That's the same person, a targeted Christian, claiming that I blocked that individual. I never blocked that individual. Listen, if a targeted Christian got blocked, that's because one of my moderators did it. You understand? What you're not going to do on my platform, let me make something clear. Let me make something real clear, okay? I got to make something real clear. This is my platform, okay? First of all, this is none of y'all's platforms. This is my house. And what you're not going to do is come into my house and disrespect the host. Especially when the host is not being disrespectful to you. I don't care if you don't like me, unsubscribe, leave. I ain't losing no sleep about anybody that wants to unsubscribe or leave. I don't care. The door is there. Nobody's holding you hostage. Nobody's stopping you. You're free to leave. Right? And then the guy is literally up here trying to say, why didn't I respond? So put whatever you had to say in your comment right now under this account that you just made. Talking about I didn't respond. Nobody saw your comment. I've been responding to you the entire time. And all you're doing is being disrespectful to my platform. Y'all put a 5 in the chat if you believe that this individual is being disrespectful and distracting to the platform. Put a 5 in the chat. Put a 2 in the chat if you think I'm lying and I'm crazy. Something wrong with me. I want to see what the people think. This individual from the entire time did nothing but call me names, being disrespectful, saying that I'm lying, saying that I don't have a backbone, trying to incite violence. Like, have a backbone about what? What am I supposed to have a backbone about? I want y'all to see, and then claims that person's been responding the whole time. But y'all can go back in the chat and you can't see no response from that person. Listen, do y'all understand that YouTube will block your own comments? Do you understand that YouTube, the platform itself, it has nothing to do with a content creator, will block somebody's comments? YouTube will deem your comments. So guess what? A targeted Christian, I don't know what you said, but YouTube probably blocked your own comments. I said this earlier in the live stream. Go run the live stream back in the beginning. I touched on this. But see, y'all come in later on and y'all show up late to class and believe that I'm saying stuff. I did not silence you. I did not block you. I did not block you. You might want to believe that I blocked you. I did not block you. I didn't block you. I didn't block you. Listen, when somebody, okay, prove that I personally blocked you. This is what I want you to do. JN or whatever your name is, prove that I blocked you. I'll wait. No, prove that I blocked you. Where's your proof? I want you to prove it. Your opinions, I want you to come through and prove that I blocked you. Come on now. Don't make me put this up on the screen that shows. Listen, I want y'all to see this. If I could get this on the screen. This right here, see how it says message retracted right here? I could go back and put on the screen and prove that I didn't block this guy. But I'm not going to do that because he's coming to me saying a lot of things. So JJN, formerly a targeted Christian, I want you to provide receipts, not opinions, that I blocked you. Go ahead. I'm allowing you a chance to provide receipts. No, ain't nobody silencing you because guess what? Put a 1 in the chat if you believe I'm silencing JJN. He's talking right now in the chat. Don't nobody block him. Don't nobody silence him. He's talking about, oh, I'm silencing him. I'm trying to give him a voice right now. He's lying on me, bearing false witness, saying that I'm silencing him. I want you to provide receipts. If you cannot provide receipts, we're moving on. Come on. Provide receipts. And then you got somebody saying, why am I so quote unquote defensive? No, I'm not defensive. What I'm doing is I'm providing a healthy debate. You see, y'all don't understand what healthy debate means. I'm providing an individual that shouldn't even be having this much time on my platform. Okay, let's take a look at this real quick again, because I've already shown this. Look at what this says right here. Free speech allows debates. Do y'all see that free speech allows debates? If you look right here, I got the cursor circling it. It allows for debates. The problem is y'all don't have any foot to stand on. So do you want to try to twist my words and come with hate speech instead of actually providing evidence, providing proof, providing records of what actually was said and done? And y'all not doing it. Okay, so here it is. Here it is. This is what I want to say. A mod did it, okay? So who is the mod who actually did it? Because what I want to prove to y'all is that the mod did it, not me. You have a targeted Christian as JJN saying that brainwaves blocked him. I did not block you. A mod did it. So why are you coming after me saying that brainwaves did it when it was one of my mods did it? I can talk to one of my mods. I can deal with one of my mods. But what I just proved is that I did not block you. You said that I, brainwaves, personally blocked you. And I told you that's a lie. So you're caught in your own lies. If a mod did it, I can deal with a mod on my platform. Nah, you're caught in your own lies. You said brainwaves blocked you. You said that I personally did it when a moderator did it. You see? He's caught. The guy, listen, you're exposed. I did not block you. You said I was lying. And you see right here in the chat that a mod admitted it that they did it. I didn't block you. A mod did that. Do you understand? This is what I be trying to tell y'all. These people be coming up with lies. They come up with harassment. They come with slander. Listen, the only thing I can do is issue a statement, and I can address that particular mod. But see, you ran with this narrative saying that I personally blocked you. And it's proof in the chats that I did not personally block you. A moderator did it. And I can correct that moderator. But at this particular time, since you came with this narrative, you came with this standard, you came with this slander, I'm not tolerating that. And first of all, this is my platform. Listen, I want to ask everybody in the audience, is this JJN's platform or is this Brainwave's platform? I want you to put the name. Put JJN if this channel is his channel, or put Brainwaves in the chat if this is my channel. I want to establish something here. Because this is the same individual that will go to the job and try to act like it's their company that they work for, that their office, that they own the office. And they may be a manager or supervisor of the office, but unless they're self-employed, they probably don't own the company. They're not the CEO, CFO. They're not on the board of advisors or anything. This is the same type of person that would just come up in there and try to set the tone in a store, in a building, anywhere. Now, check this out. Check this out. Okay? Look what people are saying. They're saying that this is my platform in the chat. I just want to establish something real quick. We're going to move on. I'm using, let me make this clear, y'all. I will use people that say things to reinforce my talking points on my channel. Okay? I want to use these people as an example. That person said that I personally blocked them and was spitting a bunch of anger and a bunch of rage. You can see it, you can feel it, you can hear it, etc., etc. Saying that Brainwaves personally blocked them. The guy was caught in a lie. One of my mods did it. And the guy wants to assume that just because somebody's a mod on my platform that I personally did it. I didn't personally did it. The person called me names, called me cows. Still to this day, I didn't call this person one name yet. And I want you to see that's the form of harassment. Okay? When I talk about harassment, that is a form of harassment. That guy has harassed everybody in the live chat from hearing the particular message and hearing the videos. Put a 6 in the chat if you believe that you've been harassed from actually hearing and seeing the video content that I'm supposed to be talking about. If you as a viewer believe that because of what this person done and tried to hijack the show and y'all like Brainwaves, move on, let it go, etc. I'm trying to give examples with how people do stuff all the time and y'all don't even see it. It be right in your face. Put a 6 in the chat if you feel like you're being harassed by that individual and that you haven't been able to enjoy the content that you're supposed to enjoy. Put a 1 in the chat if you just think I'm crazy. And I'm sure somebody's going to put a 1 in the chat anyway just to do it. But I want to see what people are going to actually say as a whole. Now, I want to make this clear. Waco says that she blocked him. He's disturbing the stream. Let me ask you a question, Waco. Do you believe that that guy has created an environment of harassment from you to be able to hear what I actually need to talk about as well as show the videos? And this goes for anyone else. I want to establish something here. If you believe that that guy has created an environment of harassment, keeping me from showing you and talking about what I need to show you and talk about, that's what we want to see. Okay, we getting 6s coming through. We got anybody else that want to vote? Put a 6 in the chat if you believe that in some form or fashion you've been harassed from hearing and seeing the video content that I need to show y'all, talking about Destiny. And you put a 1 in the chat if you think I'm crazy. Okay? Here we go. 6. Look at this 6. And then you got another person that says hate speech is free speech. No, it is not. Hassan, 6. Look at all the 6s. How many times do I have to go through this? I'm going to go through this one more time. And if anybody says hate speech is free speech, we're just going to ignore them. Hate speech is not protected under the First Amendment if it crosses into unprotected categories, such as incitement to violence, true threats, or discriminatory harassments. Hate speech is not protected when it incites violence, whether it's imminent or illegal acts, when it is constituting a threat or violence against an individual or group of people, when it's discriminatory harassment. Hate speech is expected to be offensive, but it's unprotected if it escalates to discriminatory or criminal harassment. And then defamation and obscenity. If hate speech goes into the categories of defamation and discriminatory, like you're making defamatory statements like that guy did about me, saying that I'm lying, saying I ain't got no backbone, saying a whole bunch of other stuff, that's defamatory statements. That's obscenity. And those are not protected under the First Amendment. So y'all think that hate speech is protected, and you wonder why people getting fired on the job. You wonder why all types of stuff is happening. Let's go, man.
You described him as left-wing. I'm sure, though, if some left-wing people are watching, they'll say we hate Destiny, too, because he's kind of, he's definitely progressive, and he's loyalist to the Democratic Party, but he's, like, very hawkish, very pro-Israel and very pro-Ukraine. He's kind of like a neoconservative Democrat. Anyway, he's completely loathsome, and I would rather be drowned in battery acid than spend 5 seconds talking to him.
That's crazy.
You can see there how obnoxious and bad faith and repellent he is. So kudos to Anna Kasparian. Love her, my girl, for wanting to being willing. I'm sure she didn't want to, but being willing to get down in the mud with him. I think his comments were pretty vile. But also kudos to Piers Morgan for having debates between people who actually disagree and letting.
See, having debates against people who actually disagree is fine. That's what Charlie Kirk did all day long. People wanted to unallow Charlie Kirk because he had healthy debates. He allowed the opposition to speak, just like I allow people who don't agree with me to come into the chat and speak. But what those people are not going to do is be disrespectful to me on my platform. You have a right to disagree with me. You have a right to share your comments, share your perspectives with me. But what you're not going to do with me or anybody on my platform, whether it's in the live chat, the comment section, or actually on the show, is be disrespectful, because then you're jumping into hate speech, and hate speech is not protected by the First Amendment. I'm not going to allow that. You can get pissed off all day with me with that. That's the type. Listen, I'm doing you a favor by not allowing it. I'm actually protecting you from coming under violation of the First Amendment. It's crazy, man. Let's go, man. Let's go.
Them go at each other, and people like us can decide how we feel about it. But what you can't condemn political violence because you don't like everything Trump says is just you've poisoned your own mind at that point.
Right. And I think that's the thing. Working in the media space, what you call mainstream media, what is, a space where I've learned how to tell a story, how to take a beat if someone passes away, to discuss the death and the life, and then take a beat and discuss anything else that requires nuance. I think there's a certain decorum that you just don't expect podcasters or people with digital platforms to have anymore. And so in some ways it's beautiful because they freed themselves of the institution that is a lot of big magazines, outlets, newspapers, television stations. But in other ways it's terrible because it just allows the worst of the worst commentary to go unchecked. And
you see what she said? It allows the worst of the worst commentary to go unchecked. You have the worst of the worst people making videos, making comments in the live chats. We didn't just talk about this. We talking about across the board, any content creator. They're saying the worst of the worst on all these platforms, and it goes unchecked. And what they're mad about is that now it's being checked. See, what happened to Charlie Kirk is bringing awareness to it, and now it's being checked, and they mad about it. That's fine. You can be upset with it. You can disagree with it. But what you're not going to be able to do is allow to go into an unprotected area. Like I said, Kia Bill, Kiu Bilio, if you believe that it's unprotected, then I want you to go ahead and say what you believe against people on your job, on your 9 to 5. Go out in the streets and say whatever. Post a whole bunch of stuff on social media. And I want to see how that works out for you. Since you believe it's free speech, it is not protected free speech. This is what y'all gotta understand. You have a difference between protected free speech, and this is what Kiyu Bielo has not said. It's unprotected free speech. Is it free speech? Yes, but it is unprotected free speech, which means if you do it, you have no protections on any recourse. I keep trying to tell y'all could be hard-headed and go out there and believe that you protected. Listen, this entire live stream, I've been talking about what's protected speech or what's protected free speech and what's unprotected. All people in the chat been saying, is this free speech? Is free speech? I know it's free speech, but is it protected or unprotected? Come on now. It's unprotected. When it goes into those unprotected categories, it's unprotected. There are categories that are protected that I talked about earlier. But see, no, y'all want to do the unprotected categories and believe it's protected. It's not protected. Let's go.
There is some, I think, baseline of how you should probably react to certain things. So if there's someone explaining that this and this and this happened, would you condemn it? That should be a...
You know what happened to you? You say you post on X all the time. I don't know what you say on X. I don't follow you. I don't know what you say. But if what you're saying is unprotected speech, if it's unprotected hate speech on X, then it's just a matter of time before somebody sees what's going on or before the platform itself cracks down. Like I said, I don't know what you say. This ain't a review or breakdown of what you say. What I'm saying is that if what you're saying is unprotected, maybe you're saying things that's protected. I don't know. I don't follow you. We ain't doing a review of what you're saying. I'm making a point. If what you're saying is unprotected, it's not just protected until you incite violence. You're only talking about the one category of unprotected speech. It's like, listen, are people blind, deaf, and dumb? Look at what I just put on the screen. It's not just inciting violence. Incitement to violence is one category of unprotected hate speech. True threats is another category of unprotected hate speech. You didn't mention that. Discriminatory harassment is another category of unprotected hate speech. And defamation and obscenity is yet another category of unprotected hate speech. So if you're saying something that escalates into discriminatory or harassment, that's considered unprotected hate speech. If you're saying anything that becomes defamatory or obscenities, that's not protected under the First Amendment. It does not have to just be violent. I don't think people understand this. I've been saying this like a broken record, and people keep skipping over these categories. So if you're saying these things to people, if you're doing this, again, I don't know you, I don't follow you, I'm only saying this as a warning. You might need to watch your content or take a look at your content because there's visibility and everybody's getting clapped on right now. The hammer is dropping even on the average citizen. People getting fired. People getting fired left and right. From the FBI to teachers to all types of folks. Jimmy Kimmel, I keep trying to tell y'all, but it's like y'all don't want to hear me. So I'm not the one saying these things. That's on y'all. So if y'all believe it's protected when I'm trying to show you what's protected and what's not protected, let me remind you of what's protected hate speech. The protected hate speech is when you're expressing an unpopular idea. So you're saying something that's unpopular, controversial, or even deeply offensive ideas. Okay, you can express those things. That's protected hate speech. What else is protected hate speech? Philosophical or abstract statements. when you're saying an abstract statement about hatred, you're not hating somebody, you're talking about hatred. You're talking about the philosophy of all of this. That's generally protected. Notice the word, generally protected. It's not an absolute protection, but generally speaking, there's protections. Why is it just generally and not absolute? Because one could say something that falls into the unprotected categories while they're trying to make a philosophical or abstract statement about hate speech. Now, any concrete actions or threats are not protected, and you can quote unquote do what is considered hate speech by counter speech that is the remedy. You're saying something is a solution. But again, nobody's talking about these categories. So I'm only saying this, was it Keo? And my apologies if I'm mispronouncing your name. Keo Belio. I'm only saying these things because I want you to continue to have your platform on X, and I want you to continue to voice the things that you're voicing. I just want you, if you're saying anything, which I don't know, but if you're saying anything that's unprotected, I want you to be able to be protected so that if somebody decides to say something or do something, if what you're saying falls under the protected hate speech categories, you're good, you're covered. But if it falls under the unprotected hate speech categories, then you might either need to reevaluate, I don't know, take down, censor, do what you need to do going forward so that you can continue to have your platform on X and speak. That's all I'm trying to say. I'm just trying to bring this video up and use Destiny as well as people in the chat to bring awareness. Again, I'm providing a solution so that people can move accordingly and we don't have to get canceled. We can still have our freedom to say the things we need to say, but we can say it in a manner that's protected. And as it relates to Charlie Kirk, dragging his name, calling him a bunch of names, saying stuff when the man violently got murdered, that ain't what we're supposed to be saying right now. So, that's all I'm doing. Okay, and I see you said, thanks, brother. So that's all I'm saying. That's all, not only to him, to everybody watching and listening to this. Be aware of what's protected speech and what's not protected speech. And what I want y'all to see is that a lot of people, including Destiny, the popular streamer that was on Twitch, now on YouTube, has been demonetized. People getting silenced, people getting shut down because I'm pretty sure Jimmy Kimmel thought that what he was saying was protected. But it's not. It's not. So whether you're a celebrity, whether you are a small content creator, whether you're just a viewer or watcher, we got to move accordingly so that we protect ourselves. If we know the laws, then we're protected. We must protect ourselves from any threat, both foreign as well as domestic. And I've been talking about domestic threats. So, I pretty much said what I needed to say. I kind of want to go live and I kind of want to talk about some other subjects, some other things. So I'm going to go ahead and shut this live down. I'm going to grab something to eat and I'm going to turn right back around and go live about another subject. Shout out to everybody that's here. Brenda says, good to know. Good to know. Yeah, that's all I'm doing. I just want to make sure that y'all know the laws. Y'all know what's what. So again, y'all can say what y'all want. Somebody could consider what you're saying hate speech, and it may very well be hate speech, but there's certain categories that hate speech is protected. So just know that. In the same breath, there's categories that hate speech is not protected. It's our First Amendment right, but know what's protected and what's not protected. Know what the terms of service are before you jump on a platform. Was it Keo Belio? I want to make sure that you know what are the terms of service on X, that you use X on your platform. Know what the terms of service are on X and whether what you're saying is in agreement with X or in violation. Listen, y'all, when I do my videos and I do my content, I know YouTube very well. I know what's supported and what's not supported. That's why I'm able to speak on these issues and speak to people and not suffer any consequences because I know what's protected. Listen, it don't mean you're going to like what I say and agree with it. That's fine. That's freedom of speech to disagree. But what I'm saying is know the difference between what's protected and what's not. And what Destiny did is not protected. What Jimmy Kimmel did is not protected. With those teachers and the FBI agent and a lot of people, it's not protected. You got to understand that. So I said what I needed to say. I left the information here. I did what I needed to do. YouTube has not allowed this to get out into the algorithms like it's supposed to because I got double the likes versus the views, which is crazy. But y'all continue to hit the like button. Y'all continue to subscribe. Again, here at Brainwaves Advice Topics LLC, we talk about the controversial subjects that can be considered hate speech. Listen, people hate me because I talk about subjects that they refuse to talk about. They hate me because I provide perspectives on things that they don't provide. That could be considered hate speech. But guess what? It's protected under the First Amendment. It's protected by terms of service on these social media platforms. I know my rules. I know my laws. I know how to navigate such. And it's protected. Listen, there's people that don't like what I'm saying right now. They hating on me right now by what I'm saying. And what I've been saying in this whole live. And what I say on my other content. But you know what? You got to know what you say. There's people that make videos that hate on you. And guess what? When they make their videos, when they leave their comments, they say things, though, that are in unprotected spaces of hate speech. That's right. They think they protected because of the First Amendment right, but they don't know the true breakdowns of the laws. So that's what I provide on my platform. True breakdowns, true evidence, true information, true understanding. And guess what? People hate me for that. It's just like Galatians said. Galatians 4:16. Have I now become your enemy by telling you the truth? Because I tell people truth on my platform, they consider me an enemy. They hate me. They'll say that I'm doing hate speech because I provide the truth on how the law works, the truth on breakdowns and stuff. People be hating me, man. I tell people the truth all the time. I keep it 100. And guess what? They crash out on me. So Denise says, thank you for your knowledge of the law. You are certainly welcome. Denise, you know how to continue to move on social media, at the job, out in public, wherever you go, in terms of your reactions and your opinions on certain things, as well as anybody else out there. Waco says, but you tell them the truth? Yeah, I be telling them the truth, man. I be telling them the truth all the time, and people get pissed off. Boy, they be mad. They be trying to report my videos, and they don't want to support. I'd say it's crazy, man. But hey, let me get out of here. Let me get something to eat. I hope y'all learned something. I'm going to come back on with another subject, and I'll see y'all in a few. Make sure y'all continue to double tap the screen. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't done any subscription to me yet. Shout out to everybody that has subscribed as of late. I appreciate y'all. My numbers are going up. Y'all getting my channel growing. I appreciate y'all. I appreciate y'all. I appreciate y'all. I appreciate y'all. I really do. Really, really do. So with that being said, I'll be back in the next one. And again, maybe they'll label my next video hate speech. But I understand the law and I know what I can speak. Robert says, talk your talk, Brainwaves 100. Hey, not only me, y'all talk too. Y'all continue to disagree with things, agree with things, have a stance, have a perspective. We just got to know if it's considered hate speech, you got to know how you got to move. Okay? So with that being said, man, I'll be back in a few minutes. Let me go grab something to eat. And I'll check in with y'all then. Peace and blessings. Make sure y'all double tap the screen on your way out if you didn't. Make sure you subscribe if you did. And with that being said, I'll catch y'all in a few.